ANC will be seeking partnerships on the journey that we are now embarked upon. There is no shortage of friends, of goodwill, and good intent to partner with. For the avoidance of doubt, let me state this in plain words. We may not know who is going with us or who will be our comrades at arms on this mission, but we know who they will not be. They will not be those who cannot be trusted. Those whom you trust at your own risk.
Mudavadi, the ANC party leader, yesterday making that declaration that he's going to run for the presidency, but also joined by Deputy President William Ruto and Ford Kenya's party leader Moses Wetangula. A very consequential declaration and a very consequential day in the politics of the country. And to help us analyze what just happened yesterday, we have Robert Mbui, the Member of Parliament for Kathiani constituency. Good morning and welcome back to the show.
Thank you, Sam.
We have Caleb Kositanyi, the Member of Parliament for Soi constituency. Good morning, Happy New Year, welcome back. It's been such a long time.
Good morning, Sam.
Good to see you. And we have Aidan Kenan, again the first time that he's joining us here. He's the Member of Parliament for Eldas and also the Joint Secretary of Jubilee Parliamentary Group. I said first time this year. Good morning.
Good morning, you guys.
And I have Dr. Chris Omalwa, the Member of Parliament for Kiminini and also the Secretary General for Kenya. Good morning.
Good morning.
Great. And it's good to have all of you here after that very consequential day. I don't know where to begin. Maybe I should begin from what just transpired. And Dr. Chris Omalwa, let me begin with you because we had been told that there would be a decision of the One Kenya Alliance. Then we were told there will be an earthquake, there will be a meeting of the ANC National Delegates Conference, and all the principals within One Kenya Alliance were expected. Then you see a different guests. Was it an accident or you planned this all along?
Yeah, thank you very much, Sam. First and foremost, please kindly allow me to send a message of condolence to my team in Kiminini constituency. Mm-hmm. The police couple that had a suicidal firing come from my constituency, and I want to send a message of condolences to the friends and relatives of the police who shot each other. And we call upon the police to move with speed in terms of investigations and request the government to put a program in place that can be able to help the police in terms of guiding and counseling. We've seen it in many jurisdictions outside there. Such forces, normally there's always a monitoring and evaluation in terms of their fitness for that job. So as we pray for the Almighty God to give the family fortitude at this difficult time, we also kindly call upon the government to look into the affairs of the police officers and, if possible, provide some guiding and counseling way forward. I thank you. Now, yesterday, indeed, the earthquake was there. And the scale on the Richter scale was in the upper limit. It was an earthquake in the sense it was shaking all over. I've seen even some people were shaken. My friend Mbui say he was also shaken. He didn't expect. And
has he said that?
Yes, I was with him, and he mentioned that he was shocked of the earthquake. So indeed, the earthquake was there, and the pronouncement that was made yesterday by Honorable Musalia Mudavadi was perfectly in order. And this is to say, yesterday it was also the end of Oka. We're just waiting for the official burial of One Kenya Alliance. And we are moving in. In politics, it's about capturing power. And as Musalia Mudavadi has clearly mentioned, is that we are seeking new partnerships. And as we seek new partnerships, there are some areas of no-go zone because of the trend that has been there. In politics, there must be an element of trust. We've been in coalition, some of us. We were in CORD, we were in NASA, and the big brother betrayed us. And just like what the Bible says, that the stone that was rejected by the builders, they became the cornerstone. So watch this space. There's a lot that is going on, work in progress, and indeed, it was an earthquake. As you can hear, some people were claimed, and as One Kenya Alliance, when we were invited in somebody's day, It's not you to dictate who should be invited. When we went to Kanu during the NDC, Raila Amolo Odinga, of course, was invited. He was not part of One Kenya Alliance, but we went there and we respected. When we went to Wiper, the same thing happened, and we asked questions. So you can't claim you are a big partner and you look down upon others. To me, it was purely in order. ANC was purely in order to invite the deputy president.
All right, and we'll talk about more of One Kenya Alliance later. And allow me to skip you so that I can hear from the Member of Parliament for Kathiani constituency. I mean, the decision yesterday, then what does this mean for you as a political party, but also that alliance of UDA, Ford Kenya and ANC? Is this something that had been in the workings that you would have known while you were crafting One Kenya Alliance?
Some thanks for this opportunity. First and foremost, I remember last week when I was on this show on Monday, you really did field questions about Musalia's possible move out of One Kenya Alliance. And I was at pains to defend his position, and I remember saying that as a leader, we would expect that if he had any intention of moving out, he would call a press conference and issue a proper statement and the reasons why. So I didn't know that when he said that there would be an earthquake, I didn't think that the earthquake would come in the form of a betrayal to his own partners in the One Kenya Alliance, a partnership that has been formed out of people who are victims of another, political problem within NASA. So I don't know. When we came together as One Kenya Alliance, the issue was that we had some difficulties under NASA because of the way ODM treated its partners. And that is the way it treated Wiper, ANC, and Ford Kenya. So I thought that now we were in a safe space where we were going to chart a path together. And we clearly indicated that we shall work together up to the end. So, I mean, I was shocked that ANC could actually do what they did, which was to defect from One Kenya Alliance, an alliance of their partners, and form another alliance and announce. And there's a big difference between, because my friend says here that, can I say my former friend, Chris, says that...
We are still friends. We are still friends.
Okay, former political friend, maybe.
Political, now we are no longer political allies. It looks like things have changed. But he says that we invited Raila to our function. Let me tell you the difference is like day and night. Because yesterday's function was actually a UDA function. I was there, and he knows that we were there together. We were invited, we went and took our seats. Now, I will tell you this. I have my invitation card for that function. Wiper was given 15 cards to come to that function. I received the cards for 15 people. Wiper's members of parliament are almost 30. Wiper's senators are 4. Wiper has 2 governors. Wiper has got, NEC members who are the official leaders of the party. Now, when you give us 15 cards, it already means we must scale down thoroughly. So who then gets the invitation? It was very difficult for me as organizing secretary to organize who will come for this function because the spaces that were given were few. Let me tell you, I think UDA had over 300 cards because they walked in. Almost all the members that were opposing the bill in parliament just the other day, over 100 of them walked into that function. And they were wearing uniform that some of them, like Didmas Baraza, had a uniform where half of it was yellow, written UDA. The other side was green, written ANC. Obviously, you can't have made that uniform in the morning. So that means that these people have been in talks in the night. They have been planning this thing, and they didn't prepare us for it. So we had absolutely no option. And I think it was seriously, when you talk about political conmanship and betrayal, I think ANC did betray One Kenya Alliance. And like I said, like my friend says, I think One Kenya Alliance now is dead as a coalition. But we as Wiper will still continue forge forward and look for other like-minded partners.
All right, again, One Kenya Alliance will come later on. But Caleb Kositany, it appears, are you the bigger winners, or I don't know. What does this mean for you?
Well, what it means, Sam and my fellow panelists here, is that there is a new dawn in Kenya, and people are now standing up for the truth and for standing up for what is right. Remember, there has been a very sustained attempt to try and demonize the deputy president as a person who is untouchable, a person you can't work with, a person who doesn't want to listen to others. And I want to laud the leader of ANC and Ford Kenya, because they made very painful decisions, and they made a decision for Kenya. They didn't make a decision for personal gain. And much as the people are saying that there was no earthquake, I have seen ODM, they were talking yesterday when they were in Nakuru, some members from the DAP party were waiting. Actually, they watched the entire proceedings. And immediately after, they held a press conference. If the function of yesterday was a nothing, then ODM would have ignored it, and these other DAP members would have ignored it. But what it signifies is that the contest in 2022 has taken shape. The policies of ANC and Ford Kenya are about reviving the economy. The policies of UDA are about reviving the economy. The Azimio, which is actually ODM, let's not even call it Azimio, it's just ODM trying to rebrand. The ODM side is about changing the constitution. We are talking about changing the economy. So I think now the lines are drawn. It's unfortunate that the two persons walked out of the meeting at Bomas, yet ANC and Ford Kenya tolerated and accepted the guests they had invited to their function. But that is an Oka issue. But also demonstration of leadership. If you can walk out, you can make a rational decision, a quick decision at that moment to say, let me walk out, then you are actually a very dangerous person to ascend to leadership, God forbid, because it means you will make decisions that will run, would plunge this country into an unknown roots. Because what they should have done is just sat down. The way Musalia and Tangula tolerated and accepted their guests, Raila, at their function. They should have just sat down. And that is leadership. Then later on, go and now give your opinion. But walking out at such a national event, at an event that was being watched by many Kenyans, I think it was serious lack of leadership.
Right. And Honorable Kenan, I mean, when you look at all what is happening, it appears to have pretty weakened or reduced the kind of support that Jubilee Party used to enjoy. So what does this mean for the Jubilee Party, of what remains of the Jubilee Party, and also for Azimio la Umoja moving forward?
Thank you. First, let's start from the known. The known is we expected an earthquake, we expected a bombshell, we expected a tremor. The very basic definition of an earthquake must have an epicenter. We didn't see an epicenter yesterday. We didn't see a tremor. What we see, first of all, I must admit that 6 months is such a long time in politics. And I am sure this is not going to be the beginning or the end of formations of coalitions. You are aware that right now we have, I know my friend Kalib Kositani will disagree with this, we have the Political Parties Amendment Bill, which is trying actually to legalize, properly put in perspective, the formation of coalitions. That will determine the kind of coalitions we are likely to have once that bill is passed by the Senate and assented to by His Excellency the President. I know it's a process. Secondly, we also expect the 9th February deadline for public servants or state officers to strike. That again will add to the kind of formations that we are likely to have. So taking these three aspects into account, there's nothing unexpected that happened yesterday, in my opinion. My friend MM lost his national stature.
Why?
This is this. Look at the structure. Under the UDA, I am sure the DP, the Deputy President, will come from Mount Kenya. So what will be the role of MM in that particular structure? That's what I'm saying. MM was a presidential candidate. I think what he did yesterday is shelved his ambition. Equally, DP has served his, by 9th February, by 9th August, he will have served his 2-term constitutional limit. He can't be a deputy. He can't be a running mate. So the kind of arrangement, they know it themselves, I don't want to delve into this, is something that I'm sure historians will be prepared actually to write on, and I'm sure it will not be good for some of the players who were there yesterday. Let me leave it there. On what happened and how the modus operandi and the invitations, I think generally we need a bit of civility in our politics. For me, for my good friend, His Excellency Kalonzo Musyoka and Gideon Moi, these things were written all over. Even if they didn't get direct intelligence, it was all over. It was in the public domain. It was written in the face of MM, that MM was headed towards that direction. So for my friend, when you got the 15 invitations, that should have, awaken you that something was not adding up, and therefore you should have planned on how you are going to attend that particular meeting and what you are going to do and the number of people. That being the case, I think we in Azimio or Jubilee, let me say this. If you look at the key undercurrents or denominators of all the general elections we have had since the advent of multipartyism, coalition formations, whether it was regional, whether it was tribal, whether it was personality cult driven, they were coalitions. But these coalitions lacked a very strong legal foundation. Just like the betrayals our friends have talked about. Betrayals have been the key denominator, actually, in all our political formations since the advent of multipartyism. And let me say even since independence. So this is why, for us, for the sake of this country, for the sake of posterity, we have been pushing for the amendment, this critical amendment, to sanitize, to legalize, to inject dynamism in our politics. That's why we have been pushing for the formation, for the enactment of this particular. Of course, people have introduced politics, and I'm glad that the majority of members of parliament in the National Assembly have seen sense in this critical bill, and I'm sure our colleagues, and we wish them well. I don't want to anticipate what they are likely to do in, that's not allowed, what they are likely to do in the Senate, but I am confident that we have the numbers, for those of us who are in Azimio, that bill will pass.
What do they want to do at the Senate?
No, that bill will pass, the political party amendment will pass the Senate with a very comfortable majority.
Okay.
But that being the case, on the issue, this, in my opinion, has added, and I will tell you, the event of yesterday has handed over the entire Western region to Right Honorable Raila Amolo Odinga. Politics is so dynamic.
How so? How do you say that?
I will say this.
You come from the region.
Yes, I'll say this. We have also been in this country. We understand this. If Musalia was a candidate, a presidential candidate, right now the chance is almost. It's, I think, from the event of yesterday. I don't know. Maybe things can change. 6 months is such a long time. You can have another statement, because sometimes politicians are unpredictable. But if we go by what we have had yesterday, now Western Kenya is sealed for the Right Honorable and the Azimio group.
Okay.
Just listen to this.
Just hold on, Dr. Kenan. Let's listen to the Deputy President on what he said at that event on what the next steps look like going forward.
The journey to bring this unity together has started in Bomas. Our next stop will be Wednesday in Nakuru County. And then Friday in Western Kenya. And then Saturday in Central Kenya. We will then from there tell you what the journey will look like, because this is not going to be a discussion between me, Musalia, and Wetangula. It is going to be a discussion and a conversation and a journey involving millions of the citizens of our nation.
So that was the Deputy President, but also the party leader of Ford Kenya, Moses Wetangula, had something to say about yesterday.
Kenyans can see that those who have perfected the art of deceit, those who have perfected the art of doublespeak, those who speak from both sides of their mouths, those who will never say what they mean and will never mean what they say. Today, we are confining them to the annals of history for this country to move forward.
I take interest in what he just said, that those people who say what they don't mean, and they don't mean what they say, and we'll get to that later when you talk about One Kenya Alliance, because there have also been some sentiments of those two leaders on several occasions about the unity in One Kenya Alliance. But Dr. Chris Omalwa, so what are the terms of engagement? Because like Honorable Kenan says here, and I asked this question to Cleophas Malala when he was here last week, the Deputy President cannot serve another term as a deputy president, and he's so much engaged into running for the presidency. So what will Musalia Mudavadi settle for, or even Moses Wetangula?
Yeah, before maybe I respond to that, I want to clarify that the invitation 15 cards Honorable Mbui is talking about, as the Secretary General of the party, we were told how many are available to come. So you are to be given the number of cards depending on the availability of the people that will accompany your party leader.
How many cards did you receive as well?
Like us, for example, in Ford, Kenya, as the Secretary General, when I requested the MPs who were around, our NEC members were around, we were given 30. And that's what I requested, and that's what we were given. So because he's not the Secretary General, he's the organizing secretary, maybe he's not aware that there was that request. You were asked, how many cards do you want? Because right now, for instance, in Parliament, we're in recess, and not everybody is available. So to come and claim that you are given 15 cards to be limited, that is misleading the public.
Just hold on, Honorable Mbui, was there any request for you to state how many you need?
In fact, Sam, we actually had 5 cards and got 10 cards the last day. And we kept pushing and asking who is going to go and who will not go. Our members are available. By the way, Wiper is the one party in Kenya where when the party leader says we go, 100% of our members will turn up. So it obviously, and then our NEC members. So it was difficult because actually we had to split about 5 members of parliament and the rest of the slots we give. And party leader, my own party leader is one of the 15. Let's be real. I'm talking from an official position that we were actually given only 15 invitation cards. That is a fact of the matter. And UDA were given maybe even 300 cards.
Okay.
You hear even Ford Kenya had many more cards than us. So that function was not a One Kenya Alliance function.
All right.
It was a UDA function.
All right, Honorable Mbui, I hear you. But Dr. Chris Omala, so would you know how many cards were given to you?
Now, let me clarify. I wish you give me more time. So
I will.
Yeah, the issue is
it's only 6:51.
There's no member of parliament who is asked for a card. The people of Wiper, in fact, who are there, were way beyond 20. Because I didn't even see, we started this meeting, we had a meeting in Hemingway's. There were a lot of push and pull, okay?
About
what honorable...
Push and pull about what?
No. When you were coming, the issue of the cards was not an issue. The cards are specifically, particularly for the members of the NEC, those who are not members of parliament. I've just mentioned, even the Wiper members were way more than 15. In fact, what is normally done, if the cards are limited, you come with the extra members. There's no member of parliament who was asked that where's the card. In fact, the people of Wiper who came, yesterday we were seated with Honorable Momanyi, who is a commissioner. He didn't get a card. He didn't have a card. So the element of saying that the numbers were based on the cards, it's misleading.
You've said something that those push and pull at Hemingway's. What was it?
No, let me answer. I've answered what you asked. So let's move on.
What was the push and pull at Hemingway's?
So he was not there. Let's not go into other details which you've not asked. Absolutely. So let's focus. I was just mentioning, okay, what was pull and pull at was in Hemingway's is some members were there and they never had the invitation cards. So it was said for members of parliament, you don't need to carry your cards. Give other NEC members who are not known. So for Honorable Mbui to come here and claim that that Wiper was limited to 15 cards, he is misleading. I've just mentioned the members of Wiper whom we were with yesterday, including Honorable Momanyi, we were together in the holding room in Bomas, he never had a card. So as members of parliament, you don't need a card. So it was not limited.
Okay, we'll get back to that later on. But
absolutely. Secondly,
the question of terms of agreement.
Secondly, for Honorable Kainan to come and claim matters of Western, he does not come from Western. Let him talk about the Northeastern. We come from Western Province or Western Region, and Raila was getting those votes courtesy of the people who are in that membership, notably Moses Masika Wetangula and Musalia Mudavadi.
But in
6 months is not...
Mudavadi was not on the...
Yeah, but Wetangula was with him in court. That's how it is. You must be able to know. So it is common sense. So let's wait for 6 months, it's not far. Let's see whether Raila Odinga has misled and mistreated the Luhya community. When, after the handshake, when he was given positions, how many positions were given to Western region? So don't take us for granted. Don't come here and claim that the Western region is with Raila. That's a wrong narrative, and we're going to prove you wrong. And the earthquake was there. That's why the Jubilee majority whip was trembling even when he was in the statement, Honorable Wangwe. You can see he was trembling even to speak at the Crown Plaza. And the epicenter, it's common sense where it was. On the richer scale, it was in the upper scale. So maybe it never reached the eastern region where Honorable Kenan comes. But as time goes by, you know, even the earthquake moves with time. I have no doubt, maybe today you'll feel it in your northeastern region. So watch the space.
So Dr.
Now, coming to...
I need to circulate the question. Now, please tell me, what are the terms of engagement with UDA, especially for the presidential ticket?
Now, coming to the UDA, Ford Kenya, and ANC, and other like-minded who are coming in, but then you're going to be shocked. Many have already called. They're saying this is where we go. So there are a lot of engagements that are going to be there. It's work in progress. I don't want to disclose it right now, but as time goes by, it is work in progress. And as time goes by, you'll be able to know. And I also want to correct what Honorable Kenan said. Musalia Mudavadi never said that he's not going to run for presidency. And to us in a team, in a game of football, even when it comes to penalties, you never know. It's our secret. You can get someone to come and strike.
Possibility of William Ruto shelving his ambition for Musalia Mudavadi?
I told you, it is work in progress, and that is our political strategy. So watch this space.
Okay, Honorable Kositanyi, so you must be feeling really nice. I don't know that I should tell you congratulations, but then if I do that, then there'll be some concerns on the panel. But what are these terms of engagement? Because each of these three, whether it's William Ruto, Musalia Mudavadi, or Moses Wetangula, people who've been endorsed by their, at least for the two, apart from Ruto, who have been endorsed by the political parties to run for presidency. So what is at stake here? What are you offering?
I think, Sam, you want to jump the gun and get to the end of the tape before Nini. As my colleague Chris Wamalo has said, it is work in progress. You have heard that we will be in Nakuru on Wednesday, we will be in Western Kenya on Friday, and we will be in Mount Kenya region on Saturday. The difference between us is we don't make decisions in hotels and boardrooms. We go to the people so that they help us make a decision. So we will be going to the people, we will be informing them of this, if they agree with this new partnership, and they will give us their verdict, and then from there we will retreat and come up with a plan. But one thing that I can assure you, the next president of the Republic of Kenya, the 5th president, is coming from the earthquake coalition of yesterday.
Why? It's already got a name.
That is what it is.
Earthquake coalition.
People are listening to the ground. It is Musalia Mudavadi has not just made, and Moses Wetangula did not just make a decision to join William Ruto because they were betrayed by ODM. They made a decision to join William Ruto because they are listening to the ground. Every other person who is defecting now from, and the biggest loser in defection is Jubilee and ODM, is moving. Those who are firm and know exactly what they want are moving to UDA. And those who are cowards and are moving to other small little parties. Like you can see some governor in Nakuru, he has formed a party, another one has formed another small party there. But everybody is moving out of Jubilee because it's time to chart your political way forward. So I think, give us time, Sam. We are on the right track. We have gotten new partners, and we are getting more.
How useful will the political parties amendment bill be to UDA and this new...
You know, Sam, the title of that bill, the political parties amendment bill, should actually be changed to how do you make Raila president? That is actually what it is all about. It is all about trying to sanitize the conmanship that ODM has always carried along in conning other coalition partners, and Honorable Bui off the cuff has admitted, and I don't want to quote him because he'll speak for himself. So all this is trying to sanitize the coalition. We don't need a law to have coalitions in Kenya. We only need honesty. We need leaders who are people of their word.
You know, I'm asking that question because last week when we had Senator Cleophas Malala, and you know him because he's been instrumental in this union, he said that when that act gets to Senate and they're able to approve it, then it's going to be very useful for them in forming an alliance with different friends. I believe he was talking about UDA and Ford Kenya. So if one side is feeling it's going to be useful, but on this other side you're feeling, no, this is just for Raila and Jubilee,
You see, Sam, the reason why I'm saying is we did not need to legislate in order to be, in order to have honesty and sanity in our politics. We did not need to. We need to be people of our word. Our fathers did business. And even Kainan can attest to it. There are people these days who will give you 10 million shillings without writing it anywhere by trusting you for your word. And once you do your business and you get your money, you will call him and say, hey, your money is here. I remember at one time my father told me, let's drive into so-and-so's house. And he removed some money and gave it to him. And I told him, haven't you written anywhere? He says, no, he gave me some money sometime and I was just returning it. So there's nothing, we are by word of mouth. So that sanity, that truthfulness should translate in our politics. Unfortunately, because of all this, that Raila has become a state project, and they want to try and, the actual reason for this political amendment bill is to try and get Wiper and the ANC and Ford Kenya to have confidence that Raila will not corner us again if we go into a coalition, because now it is there in law. So the law is going to, it may be beneficial to, but it is not necessary to legislate in order for us to be honest. We just need to be people of our word.
I'll get to you, Honorable Boy, but Dr. Kenan, with all these concerns and what is happening in the political landscape, does it bother you, especially on the side of Azimio la Umoja? You're being told that this is an opportunistic bill for what cause it is. Does it bother you?
Not really, because I think there is one thing, we have to be honest. I know UDA has been attempting to create, they have been helping actually, the ANC. They wanted to create a movement with no room for small groups. That can't work. You just need to appreciate the history of this country. This country, if you look at the making of the Republic of Kenya, this country has been about tribes, about regions. And even the parties that we have been laden with that particular thing. That is why we say this particular area is the stronghold of this particular party. So what forms part of the policies of UDA cannot be forced as part of the legislative agenda of the people of Kenya. The amendment, the political parties amendment, is for posterity. It's not for Azimio, it's not for UDA. It's true that as citizens of the modern day Kenya, we need to have a predictable, implementable law. And that is why the lacunas and the other bits in the political parties act that could not be implemented or could not be properly interpreted are being now put into perspective through this amendment, so that when you go into an agreement, and I can bet ANC supports this, because when you are going to UDA, they need a law that will protect their interest. Wiper supports this is just a small group who are helping on opposing anything that does not originate from them. This bill has already gone through the National Assembly. I have no doubt in my mind it will go through the Senate. I have no doubt in my mind His Excellency the President is going to assent to it, and it's going to be a bill. It's going to be operationalized soon. What that will bring in, I had a chat with a friend of mine who is a friend to my friend Kositani. He says this, he can't talk about it, he can't oppose UDA, but this is the best thing that has happened, because the moment this is passed, he's going to come with his own condition and say this is his party and he wants to be an affiliate of UDA. That is the circumstance. So this bill has nothing to do with Raila. It has nothing to do with Uhuru. It has nothing to do with Azimio. It is for posterity. And that is why the majority of members of parliament, minus the politics, minus the shenanigans that we have seen, suppose this. Let me clarify certain things. Raila is not here. Raila has been on the ballot for quite some time. We are supporting him as Jubilee. The other groups who have left Jubilee, we wish you well in your new home. But for us, the majority who have remained in Jubilee.
Majority?
Majority.
What does majority mean?
We have demystified about the numbers. We have debunked that theory. We know the numbers right now. It's no longer a secret. We know it. We'll see it in the Senate. We have seen it in the Governors Forum. We have seen it in the National Assembly. That is no longer a show.
Honorable Kina, just hold on.
Let me finish this.
Just a moment. At the National Assembly, I remember during the voting on the political parties bill, the highest your side of politics came to was about 153. And the highest
157.
Okay, 157. The other side of UD, I think the highest was about 130.
38.
I'm talking about the time they were voting for amendments. Okay. It was about 130. If Ford Kenya and ANC members of parliament move the other side, do you still have 153?
All of them, or majority of them actually were on the other side.
No, that is very wrong.
Majority of
Let me clarify.
Let me finish for you this. And how many members were absent out of the 349? Because of circumstances beyond their control.
I'm saying we use the numbers as they were. Do you still have that strength of numbers?
Absolutely. By the way, this bill also transcends parties. There are quite a number of members of parliament, even those who absented themselves from the majority actually, were members who are supporting this particular. You will see when parliament reconvenes, because that was the holiday season. And you will see it from the Senate. This bill enjoys absolute, majority of members of parliament actually from across the political divide supposedly. But having said this, let me bring this. Whenever there's a debate, there is this trend of our friends introducing the name of Raila. Raila is a presidential candidate. I have no doubt in my mind, and you can record this day, that God willing, we also say inshallah. Because we propose, God has his own plans.
Okay.
That Raila will be the fifth.
Can I clarify something?
Let me say, Raila will be the fifth president. We as Jubilee, as the original Jubilee, as proper Jubilee. Luckily, what happened yesterday reinforced also one thing. We already had a coalition agreement with KANU. We have a working agreement with Waiba. Meaning therefore, what happened yesterday put in perspective that particular original group that has been working together and removes the other doubt. So we as Jubilee will have a grand coalition with ODM and other like-minded groups. And as I said earlier on, this is just the beginning. Let this bill pass, let it be assented to, let it be operationalized, let the Senate do its work, let the state officers resign, and you will see the formation.
Okay.
Let me complete this. Let me complete this. The formation, what this bill will allow is first of all the contextualization of coalition making, put in proper perspective into the whole process, and depositing the same with the register of political parties. So this is just the beginning. What our friends are celebrating, the Nakuru rally, the whatever Western rally, these are political platforms. It will just start. For me, the way I see it.
Let's give Honorable Mboy an opportunity, because I'm just wondering, where does this leave Wiper as a party? And as he says that you're still within that working agreement, to what end? Because it appears that quite a number of members have left the Jubilee Party.
Thank you, Sam. And first, please allow me, because Caleb did mention my party leader in bad light. And I need to have the right of reply when he said that it was a poor sign of leadership when he walked out. Apparently, really, there is no way that our party leader would sit in a function of an opponent called UDA. So when we realized that the function was a UDA function, the only option he had was to walk out, because the things that were discussed there, including even the program for the coming weeks that was unveiled in that function, what would he have done sitting there listening to that? It didn't make sense. So for him to walk out, he just walked out to give respect to the UDA party and its new partners. So it's not in bad light for him to have walked out. He actually had absolutely no other option, because it didn't make sense for us to sit there as they're charting their path now away from us. The other issue, Sam, is that please allow me to also say that this UDA party and the earthquake group are already clearly at diverse points, because on the matter of whether to pass the political parties bill in order to put sanity in coalitions, UDA is clearly against it. But ANC and Ford Kenya voted almost to the last man in its support. So it doesn't, for me, I don't understand, because even now you hear Kositani Caleb saying, no, this thing is not good, and Chris Omalo will say it is good. So already the earthquake is cracking. The two groups are already talking from different points. So I'm even wondering how they're going to relate with each other going forward. And let me say, the reality is that UDA have been very, very clear. UDA want a state which is not a multi-party democracy like Kenya. They want to go back to the one party like KANU. That's what they want. And that's what they have always insisted on. And I'll tell you, it is going to be so difficult for UDA to now go and operate in central Kenya, where they denied all those small parties of Central Kenya from working with them. And they told them, you have to fold your parties and join us. Then they go to Western and tell them it's okay for you to come with your parties and maintain your identity. So, I mean, the double standards are really incredible.
That's an interesting view. And you said that the earthquake is cracking. I'm just wondering, and earthquakes supposed to have cracks? I don't know. Let's listen to these two leaders. Just hold on, because you're students of history here. They once upon a time spoke about the same thing differently. Listen.
Pengine mnashangaa hii bottom up inaanzia wapi? Hii bottom na inasumbua watu, umesumbua watu wengi sana. Watu wamechanganyikiwa vibaya sana na hii bottom up.
If you did this and you say bottoms up, this is the bottom. Mtu anameza kila kitu. Na mwananchi atapata nini?
That was between July and August of 2021.
And the challenge will be
let me start with Honorable Kositanyi here. So how have you reconciled the difference of opinion? Because your, should I say party leader? I get confused. The deputy president, that's what I'm sure of, has been on record calling these political parties as small tribal village political parties. Get off the back of the president and come face me on the ground. So what sort of reconciliation of views and opinions has had to go on for this?
I think what we need to know and what we have learned from history about our political landscape in Kenya is that there are no permanent friends and there are no permanent enemies. So I think the fact that we have a person who swore himself in and actually refused to accept the victory of President Uhuru Kenyatta, working with President Uhuru Kenyatta, is much of a greater than is the story between Musalia and William Ruto. So I think that is not an issue. And I want to answer Bui about UDA not accepting other political parties and being against the Political Parties Act. When you are making a constitution or any constitutional moment, it is for posterity, not for personal for individuals. I want to tell them that this constitution, I voted no. But my friend, the next president of the Republic of Kenya, is the deputy president in this constitution, and yet he led the no campaign. So let us not try and say that even if the political parties amendment bill passes and it becomes law, then we will abide because we are law-abiding citizens. But we have to express our opinion. We have to express our thoughts and our reservations.
Looking at it, what clauses would be useful to further your cause?
The clauses that you see, I would not say. Let me put it this way. Put it differently. It was not necessary.
Okay.
It was not necessary to have this because we are men of our word. We believe that we can form a coalition without having to legislate, to have to stop conmanship and intimidation and mistrust. Because I believe we are a team that can be trusted. But since others cannot be trusted, then they've had to go and legislate for it so that they can hide their mistrust behind the law. So for us, let's see how it if it sees the light of day in Senate, then we will adjust accordingly. And there's no harm.
All right, and Dr. Chris Omalwa, how have you reconciled all these views? Because for a very long time there have been very divergent views about the politics of President Kenyatta and William Ruto, especially if you had to look at the campaigns of 2013 and 2017, and those differences on record about the bottom-up economic model. How have you reconciled them now that
Mudavadi
you can...
or Kenyatta?
Sorry?
You said President Kenyatta. Is it Kenyatta or Mudavadi?
No. I'm talking about the differences between your party leader and ANC leaders, Musalia Mudavadi, versus the Kenyatta-Ruto ticket historically. So how then now have you reconciled all these things?
Yes, at that time when different political camps, the ideology was different. And as time goes by, it is said it's only a fool who does not change. And as we speak right now, because a lot has been said about the political parties amendment bill. And on record, Chris Wamalwa voted for that bill. I'm the Secretary General of Ford Kenya, and I was there to vote for it because it was a position of our party by then. And because it says the swearer knows where it pinches. We've been in court, we've been in NASA, and we've complained severally about our political parties fund, which up to date, ODM has not given us in full. Okay? And that's how the issue of mistrust comes in. And that's why Honorable Caleb Kwestani said that if there were issues of trust within political parties, this actually party will have been unnecessary. And why some of us went for this political parties amendment bill is because of the history where we're coming from. Even Honorable Bui, and by the way, we've had very good relationship with the Wiper. It's unfortunate that you are telling each other bye-bye, but it's very painful. We've been together, we've been victims together, we've been very close friends.
So you feel you need that bill in
and that bill, of course, we are sitting now engaging with our colleagues now in UDA. And once they've seen also the sense. So that's why I say it's only a fool who does not change. And why we pushed for that bill is from history, where we're coming from. Honorable Kenan here is coming up with also a small party called UPIA or something. So he wants his interests to be safeguarded in the Azimio. And looking at the history of Raila Odinga in terms of mistrust, that's why they are pushing, because they don't want to find themselves in that situation. So politics, when it comes to laws on the floor of the House, normally political parties come up with a political party stand. But there are other bills the political party can say, vote with their own conscience. But particularly on this, and because of the history where we're coming from, there was mistrust, was not there. And that's why some of us, we felt, let's have this bill to go through because of where we are coming from. Otherwise, if there was trust where we are coming from, maybe this bill will not have been there.
Dr.
Okay?
Chris,
so as we move forward,
you have not answered. We need to take a short break. When we return, we continue talking about this, including the One Kenya Alliance and what now this means, the broken promises and the lessons from it. Stay tuned. You can text in your views via 22422 or Twitter at Citizen TV Kenya at Sam Gituku. The hashtag to use is The Break. You're back shortly.